Hey guys, it's Steph and I'm back with another video. So today it's going to be a journal related video. I feel like I should get into that more. I had one of on the giveaway that I'm hosting, which by the way, I will link in the description so you guys can check it out. It's going on until April 6th. Unfortunately, it's for US only right now. But anyways, I'll link that in the description. So one of the ways to enter is to give me a journal or a video idea, and a couple people said journaling videos, so I figured I might as well start now. So today I'm going to do a video that I've been thinking about doing for quite a while. I have tried what I'm going to talk about, if that makes sense. So pretty much what today's video is going to be is a physical journal versus a digital journal. Wow, it's just, this is all messing up. A digital journal like this. So, it's going to be pros and cons of both. So, by a digital journal, I mean anything that you do electronically. You know, things like Evernote, Day One, Write a Day, Penzu, even just as simple as a Word document. So, some of the pros of digital journaling is, one, you're always going to have your phone on you. So, as long as the app is able to be on, like, your tablet and your phone, you're always going to have your journal on you. It's so easy to just get on when you have a thought or something cool happens and you don't want to forget it. You just go into your app and jot it down. Another thing is that it's easier to like back up your journals, so you don't have to worry about losing your thoughts and your ideas, because you can like always back up a journal to like the cloud, to Dropbox, to Google Drive, things like that. So you'll always have a backup in case like your phone crashes or you have to reset your phone. You'll always have a backup of your journal. Another pro of a digital would be that it's easier to like do categories, if that makes sense. So like say you're talking to a friend of yours and you're like, oh my gosh, I wrote about that, and then you want to share with them what you wrote. You would just go in and click search and like kind of put in what you're talking about. Like say you guys were talking about a concert that you guys went to and you knew that you wrote about the concert, you can just type in let's say Jason Aldean concert, and it'll bring up your page or your entry about the concert. So that's something that like a physical journal doesn't have. Next up would be like privacy. So most journaling apps give you the option to add like a password or a PIN, things like that. So that way if they don't know your password, they're not going to get in there. And if you guys are like me, I write everything in my journals. Every thought, every feeling I have, and some of it's pretty embarrassing. And sometimes I don't want people to read it. So it's really nice to have that privacy. Next up would be like, everything's in like one spot. So you don't have to worry about where your pens are. You don't have to worry about where your planners are, or where your stickers, or your washi, or anything like that is. You just gotta grab your phone and go for it. You just start typing. So that's another thing, is it's kind of like all together and you don't have so many little odds and ends that you have to remember to grab in order to journal. Next up would be kind of like the speed of doing a digital journal. So if you're like me, I write pretty fast in my journal, but I also take time to think about what I want to write. Because sometimes I'll sit in front of my page and just be like, I had a okay day, but I'm not sure what to write about. So you kind of sit there and think, you know, and I do the same thing with a digital journal, but sometimes with a digital journal, I'll just start typing away, and if things will just click. And as you're typing, depending on how fast you type, you could get 4 or 5 pages of typing done, where as you're writing in your journal, you may only get to 1 page and you may already be tired of writing. So the speed and the efficiency of it would be really awesome because, you know, it also has spell check, so you never have to worry about spelling anything wrong, and things like that. So Another really awesome thing for a digital would be that you can personalize it however you want. Now, yes, this is the same for a physical journal, but it's a little bit different. So with a digital journal, you could choose your font, your color, you can choose your layout of how you want to do it. Some apps also give you the option to like put a weather icon or put a smiley face if you're feeling happy or a frowny face if you're feeling sad, and things like that. So it's going to be like pretty much perfect to what you want, and that's something that a journal may not give you. Next would be that it's easier to like edit or revise your digital journals, so you don't have to like mark out things. You can just go in, highlight, you can change a word, you can delete a word, things like that, and it's just really quick. Another really fun thing is that you don't have to pay to have your pictures printed out or pay to buy glue so that you put your pictures in your journal. You can just add them straight from your phone, which is a huge time saver and money saver. So let's go ahead into some pros, because I don't want you guys, or some cons. I don't want you guys to think I'm just all digital, because I do prefer physical journals. But digital journals might be good for some people. So the cons is that we already spend so much time on our phones away from our families and our tablets and things like that. So by having an online journal, or like electronic journal, you're going to spend even more time on your phone. If you're an avid journaler, like some of you out there are, you're going to spend more time on your phone, and you're not going to be able to, be around your family as much. So that's kind of a con of a digital. Another thing is you have to have internet or Wi-Fi. And how many times have you been somewhere where they're like, oh yeah, I have Wi-Fi, and then you're like, no you don't, where's your Wi-Fi at? And if you need to back up something or save something and you don't have internet, then you could potentially lose what you're writing. Or, your phone could just completely just take a crap, and, you'll lose everything that you just typed. So that's kind of like, that's a big con, is that, you rely on internet, and not everywhere has internet. So, and not everywhere has service. And, the last con I can think of would be, like having to keep your phone charged or your tablet charged. That's like a nuisance. Like, you'd have to almost carry, if you're an avid journaler, you'd almost have to carry a charger on you. If you're going to be on your phone for like a long time, you almost would have to keep a charger on you, which is really irritating, and it's not ideal. So let's go ahead and get into a physical journal. So physical journal is anything, a notebook, a Moleskine, whatever, you can think to use. As long as it's got paper and a cover, you're good to go. So a pro about, keeping a physical journal is feeling it in your hand. There's just something about being able to like grab my planner or my journal, grab my journal and just hold it and like think about what I want to write, how the different pages feel, and also like holding a pen in my hand, just the feeling of me writing is soothing. Typing doesn't give me that satisfaction, but writing freehand, drawing little doodles, things like that in a journal, they're really soothing, and they're a big stress reliever, and that's not something that a phone gives me. So that's a really big pro of a physical journal. Next up would be, like the fact that it's a permanent journal. So anything that you put in it, you write in it, is never going anywhere. Unless you lose it or something like that, but it's permanent. So it's kind of cool. Like, even if you mess up and you like mark it out, you can look back and be like, you see, I'm not perfect, but I'm perfect enough for me, and my journal reflects my personality, and it reflects how imperfect I am, but how perfect I feel as I'm writing. So that's a really big pro, is just that everything's permanent, and you don't have to worry about being the best journaler. You be you, do you, and if you mess up, mark it out. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, it doesn't look aesthetically pleasing, but it shows that you're human. So that's a pro. And the last pro I can think of, well, actually, there's two more I think two. The community around journaling. Once I started JournalTube, or whatever you want to call it, I didn't realize how many people out there actually journaled. I thought that I knew people wrote in journals, but I didn't realize how large of a community there is, and how supportive everybody is. Like, even if I feel down and I'm like writing in my journal and I just don't feel like writing, I can reach out to, people like Crystal. She's on my channel. You'll see her comment sometimes. Crystal and like Sarah, the Library of Sarah. I can reach out to them for inspiration. I can look at their Instagrams or their YouTubes, and they just inspire me. And I don't have that, and you don't have that with a digital journal. Not many people choose to share their digital entries, but the journal flip through videos and things like that just give you the satisfaction of having a community and having somebody to lean on in your times of need. And that's something you don't get with a digital journal. And last but not least, for a pro, is you get to be creative. You get to choose, like, what spread you want to do. Like, if you're bullet journaling, you get to create your spreads. You get to choose what washi. You get to go journal shopping. Like, who doesn't love journal shopping? You get to choose a journal that speaks to you. You get to choose washi tape. You even get to choose how you store your journals. Like, whether you choose to, like this journal CEO, she keeps hers in a trunk. Online, or like me, you just keep them on a bookshelf so everybody can see them. Keep them in a box. Like, there are so many options to be creative being a physical journaler. Now, there are some cons to journaling. Not very many. Not very many in my opinion. But one really, really big con is losing it. If you take it with you, you risk leaving it on the bus or leaving it in the car, like say you take an Uber, or say you're like at the pool and you're writing and you just pack your stuff up, and the next thing you know, you're halfway home and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot my journal. And that could really devastate somebody if they put their life and everything in their journal. As well as, if you leave it somewhere, someone could read it and they could have your thoughts, and that could turn out really badly for some people. So that's a really big con, is like just losing it. Another one is, like damaging it. Like, you could be reading and drinking some tea, or journaling and drinking some tea, I should say. And because I love doing that. I love journaling, listening to some classical music, and drinking tea. And then next thing you know, oops, I just spilt my tea all over my page. Again, that adds character to your journal, of course, because your page will be like a brown color and like wrinkled. But again, that could become disastrous. It could ruin your entire journal. If you use like gel pens, things like that, it could bleed and run, and it's horrible to think about. But that's another really big con. Another one that I can think of personally is that sometimes journaling can get expensive. You have to buy journals, you have to buy pens, you have to buy, washi or stickers and things like that. And some journals range all the way up to like $20 or $30 for just a journal. Now, I'm not saying it has to be expensive, because you can go to the school supply aisle and buy like a one subject notebook and go to town with it. But if you want like a real journal, like bound journal, leather journal, it's going to cost you some money. As to where a digital, you could just pay for an app, 99 cents or even free, and just go to town on it and have so many gigabytes of memory and backup and things like that. Another, another con would have to be that you may not always carry your journal on you. I personally carry my journal in my purse. That way, if I'm like at lunch and I'm like, I really feel like journaling today, I can just grab my journal and just go for it. But most people don't always carry their journal for the risk of losing it. Because every time I choose to take my journal to work with me, I risk losing it in the car, losing it at work, somebody coming across it and just like reading it and things like that. So that's another con. It would be, you know, not always having it on you. And last but not least, I could think about a con is the time. Did you guys just see the shadow behind me? Okay. Anyways, the time that it takes to put effort into a journal. If you live a hectic lifestyle, having a physical journal may not be the best for you. Because if you're like me, it could take me an hour to 2 hours to write down all my thoughts, to add all my little doodles. And with a digital journal, you can just do it in a half hour and be done. So, yeah, this video is just a tad bit longer than I expected it to be, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know in the description, or I can't talk, in the comments below if you liked these kind of videos. If so, I will do more journaling videos, because I have so many things in mind, but definitely like and subscribe. It would help me out a lot, and I hope you guys love this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!